314.
What kind of golfer wins a major championship without ever seeing the course? In 1991, John Daly was the 9th and final alternate for the PGA Championship at Crooked Stick. Nick Price withdrew because his wife was about to give birth. Daly drove through the night, nearly 10 hours from Memphis, arriving past midnight. No practice round, no course knowledge. Just Price's caddy, Jeff Medlin, who had one instruction every time he handed Daly the driver: kill. By Sunday morning, the unknown rookie held the lead. Jack Nicklaus left a handwritten note on his locker before the final round. "Go get him, John," Jack Nicklaus. Daly still has it framed in his house. 5 holes from the finish, riding a 5-shot lead, Daly turned to playing partner Bobby Clampett and asked, "Bobby, what do I do now?" Clampett told him, "Just play for the crowd and enjoy every shot." That is exactly what he did. Crooked Stick was a Pete Dye design, built to punish. Long carries over water, tight angles, heavy rough. Most players respected the course. Daly simply overpowered it. He drove over hazards that were supposed to be unreachable, turning long par 4s into short irons. He finished 12 under par, winning by 3 strokes. He was a rookie. He was 25 years old. Jack Nicklaus watched closely and did not hold back. "He's tremendous. Better than I thought he'd be. I've never, ever seen a player generate the club head speed that he does." That's remarkable. But he also has an excellent short game. He dazzled everybody with his distance when he won the PGA, but people forget he made every 5-footer. Nicklaus also studied the swing itself and shook his head. It's hard to believe anybody can swing the club back that far. Ray Floyd, who followed Daly that week, put it more simply: "My back got sore just watching him swing." What made that swing so unsettling was where it came from. Daly had learned golf at 4 years old, using a set of adult Jack Nicklaus clubs. The only way a small child could generate speed with those heavy clubs was to swing as far back as physically possible. That habit never left. The result was enormous clubhead speed, but also enormous risk. His backswing traveled far past parallel, the club shaft dropping toward the ground behind him. When the timing was right, nobody on tour could stay with him. When it was off, anything could happen. Larry Mize, who played alongside Daly during that era, understood the effect it had on opponents. Before you play with John, you think you're mentally prepared with how far he can hit it. But when he does it, sometimes you just can't believe he hit it that far. He just bombs it. From 1991 through 2002, John Daly led the PGA Tour in driving distance 11 times. The only year he missed was 1994, when he spent most of the season suspended. In 1997, he became the first player in Tour history to average over 300 yards per drive. That season, Tiger Woods finished second in driving distance at 295 yards. No other player broke the 300-yard barrier until Hank Quaney did it in 2003. For more than a decade, Daly was playing a different sport from everyone else on tour. Brett Ogle, who ranked 8th in driving distance at the time, admitted it directly. "No one out here attacks the ball as much as John." But the moment that defined Daly's raw power came at the 1993 U.S. Open at Baltusrol. The 17th hole on the lower course measured 630 yards, the longest hole in U.S. Open history. No one had ever reached the green in 2 shots. Daly stepped onto the tee, launched a driver 325 yards, then pulled out a 1-iron. He recalled the moment simply: "I might as well just swing as hard as I can." The ball skipped over a bunker, rolled onto the green, and stopped 40 feet past the flag. He later admitted, "That was really my only goal this week. We may not make the cut, but at least we can make some history." He was right on both counts. He missed the cut, but he made history that no one has matched since. John Daly did not look like a professional golfer. He did not act like one either. He smoked on the course, drank Diet Coke between holes, wore loud patterned pants, and carried a bleach blonde mullet through the 1990s. In a sport built around country clubs and quiet etiquette, Daly was the opposite of everything golf expected. And that was exactly why people loved him. Daly understood this better than anyone. I'm no different from the fireman or the guy working at McDonald's. People can relate to my life. It's no different to theirs, it's just I play golf. I went down the wrong road a little bit, but I had some fun doing it. He leaned into the image without apology. I've got the drinkers and the smokers and the eaters on my side. But beneath the showmanship was something genuine. Daly brought fans to golf who had never watched the sport before. He made the game feel accessible. He once said, "The greatest thing for me is when someone comes up and says, 'My son started playing golf because of you.'" He was not a role model in the traditional sense, but he opened a door that the sport had kept closed for decades. By the time the 1995 Open Championship arrived, John Daly was nowhere near contention for anything. He had recorded just one top 10 finish in his previous 31 starts and missed the cut 13 times. The bookmakers set his odds at 66 to 1. Former PGA Tour player and broadcaster David Feherty summed it up. Even though he was a major champion, he was a long shot at best. No one gave him a shot at St. Andrews. What nobody accounted for was how perfectly the old course suited Daly's game. The wide fairways begged him to swing as hard as he wanted. During that week, he drove the green on 6 par-4 holes. Seve, who played alongside Daly on Friday, could barely contain himself. He plays spectacular. There are no par-5s for him. He paused. Well, there are no par-4s for him either. Off the course, Daly fought his own battle. He had emptied the minibar in his hotel room and restocked it with Diet Coke and chocolate. He survived on caffeine, cigarettes, and the chocolate chip muffins sold behind the 9th green, eating them every single day of the tournament. They were fresh and they were good, he said later. By Sunday afternoon, Daly held a one-stroke lead heading to the clubhouse. Then came Costantino Rocca. The Italian needed a birdie on the 18th to force a playoff. He chunked his approach into the Valley of Sin, and it looked finished. Then Rocca rolled in a 65-foot shot from off the green to tie. Daly watched it happen on a television monitor. I thought it was mine. I actually thought it was mine. That's got to be one of the ultimate shots ever made in golf. I couldn't believe it went in. But Daly regrouped. In the 4-hole playoff, he beat Rocca by 5 strokes. When asked about his victory, he kept it simple. A redneck blue-collar guy like me goes and wins the Open at St. Andrews. It's awesome. He celebrated by filling the claret jug with chocolate ice cream and eating it. Someone had offered him $1 million before the final round to lose on purpose. It was, Daly said, a very short conversation. The first time Tiger Woods met John Daly, Tiger was 13 years old. It was 1989 at the National Insurance Youth Classic in Arkansas. They were grouped together in the final round. The teenager built a 4-shot lead over the front 9. Daly, 23 at the time and not about to lose to a junior, birdied 3 of the final 4 holes to win by 2. Years later, Sir Ian Botham witnessed what Tiger was up against. The cricket legend recalled watching Daly on a practice range in Dubai. John was practicing. Well, practicing, he had his Diet Coke and his cigarette in the other hand, and he's hitting wedges off the ground, 30, 40 yards. He'd hit 10 with his top hand, then he'd do 10 with his left hand, and the furthest away would have probably been 4 feet from 35 yards. He's just a talent. Tiger Woods saw the same thing up close. At the 2004 Target World Challenge, Daly was drinking beer in the clubhouse after the Wednesday Pro-Am. Tiger walked in wearing workout clothes. Daly told the story to Golf Channel. Tiger's there in his workout clothes, and I said, "Tiger, come have a beer with us, man." Woods said he was headed to the gym. Daly pushed back. I go, "Man, you don't need to work out. You need to drink a little bit with us." Tiger's response stopped Daly cold. He said, "If I had your talent, I'd be doing the same thing you're doing." Daly shook his head. I'm looking at him thinking, "You're crazy, man." On the surface, the ultimate compliment. The greatest golfer of his generation telling a man holding a beer that he envied his natural ability. But the tragedy is already there. Daly had the raw talent that even Tiger acknowledged. What he never had was the discipline to match it. Same era, similar gifts, opposite outcomes. Daly himself recognized the gap. Speaking on the Dan Patrick Show, he said, "His focus and mentality is probably one of the strongest I've ever seen in a golfer. Tiger was always 1, 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of me in this game." John Daly never hid from what he was. "Everyone has addictions, and my problem is that I have 5,000 of them. If it's not drinking, it's gambling. If it's not gambling, it's eating anything from burgers, donuts, to M and Miss." The drinking started at 8 years old. By the time he reached the PGA Tour, it was a permanent companion. "I was never able to have 3 or 4 beers. One's too many, and 10 just ain't enough. Basically, it's the way I've been since high school." In 2008, legendary coach Butch Harmon severed ties with Daly and made his reasons public. "The most important thing in his life is getting drunk." Then there was the gambling. In a 2014 interview with Graham Bensinger, Daly revealed the total damage between 1991 and 2007, $55 million. When Bensinger asked how that was even possible, Daly gave a one-word answer: stupidity. He played 7 hands of blackjack simultaneously, betting between $5,000 and $15,000 per hand. He described marathon sessions lasting 2 straight days without sleep. The most infamous night came after the 2005 World Golf Championship. Daly had pushed Tiger Woods to a playoff and lost, earning $750,000 for finishing second. Instead of going home, he drove to Las Vegas. He lost $600,000 in the first 30 minutes on slot machines. 5 hours later, the total reached $1.65 million. Daly explained his attraction to it with uncomfortable honesty. "I loved the action. I loved the adrenaline going in there." His current net worth sits at roughly $2 million. The gambling and drinking were private disasters. The meltdowns on the course were public ones. At the 1998 Bay Hill Invitational, Daly hit 6 consecutive shots into the water on the par 5 6th hole. He finally cleared it on his 7th attempt. He scored an 18 on a single hole, one of the highest numbers in PGA Tour history. At the 2011 Australian Open, it happened again. After sending 6 or 7 balls into the water on the 10th hole, Daly turned to his playing partners and said simply, "I'm off." He grabbed his son and walked off the course, leaving a trail of bewildered spectators behind him. In 1994, at the World Series of Golf, Daly twice drove into the group ahead, nearly hitting fellow professional Jeff Roth. Roth's father confronted Daly, and a physical altercation broke out before fans separated them. Daly was fined and banned for the rest of the season. He reflected on those years without making excuses. "I was a basket case, you know. When I got mad, I threw clubs, and if things weren't going well, I would walk off a course. I think I lost a little bit of respect, but hopefully I've gained that back." He also refused to pretend he was anyone else. "Yeah, I've done some stupid things. Some people have done some bad things to me. I've gotten a few divorces. It's not any different than anybody else. Mine just gets publicized." Then the quiet admission: "I was real stubborn back then. I wasn't going to change anything, and when I did change, I didn't like it. I just couldn't not be me." John Daly won 2 major championships. He changed how an entire generation thought about power in golf. Young players watched him launch drives past 300 yards in an era when nobody else could, and they wanted to do the same. Tiger Woods, Bubba Watson, Bryson DeChambeau, the modern power game traces a direct line back to Daly. Yet he remains the only 2-time major winner from either the United States or Europe, never selected for the Ryder Cup. 5 career PGA Tour victories. That is the entire resume of a man whose natural talent drew envy from Tiger Woods himself. Daly heard the criticism and answered it on his own terms. Some people say, "Why have you only won 2 majors? It's not easy. Everybody thinks because you won a major, it's easy." It's not. The good news is they can never take those 2 away from me. My name's going to be on there forever. He never asked for sympathy. I know there's a lot of guys who would love to see me fail. Well, good, let him. I'm glad. And when he looked back at what those 2 weeks gave him, his voice carried something different. Those memories you can just never forget. It's just the ultimate feeling, the names on that trophy. It's pretty incredible. The things I've got to do because of a crazy game chasing a white ball. The distance between 5 victories and 82 is not about talent. It never was. It was about everything that talent alone cannot solve. At the 2019 PGA Championship, Daly rode a cart around Bethpage Black, chain-smoking and drinking Diet Coke, followed by thousands of cheering New Yorkers despite shooting well over the cut line. They did not come to watch him contend, they came to watch him be himself. Later that year, he announced he had been diagnosed with bladder cancer. His knees were deteriorating. He could walk up a hill, but not down one. He needed a golf cart just to compete on the Champions Tour. The Merry Mex, who had known Daly since he was 18, offered his assessment when Daly joined the Champions Tour. He's got the greatest short touch for a big man of anybody I've ever seen. I think he will grip it and rip it, and you can't keep him out of the winner's circle. Then he added with a grin, unless he throws his club or his whole bag in the water on the 18th hole. When he looked back at it all, he kept it simple. I'm a fighter, I'm a survivor, and I'll get through anything people can throw at me. John Daly was never terrifying because he was perfect. He was terrifying because he did not care if he was.